Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners. Welcome to another fine trading day. So let's see. Morning, Jacob. Morning, Wavy. Good morning, Ken. Yes, I saw that. I was looking through all the information about Bill Wong and Arceus Capital. And you remember he seeded Kathy Wood's first four funds. It could get very interesting for ARC. Could get interesting. Hello, George. How much blood is the market donating today? Probably we'll get the bounce now that you said that. There's the bounce. The bounce is coming thanks to Geo Mission George. Good morning, Mike. Can you look at ENPH? We'll take a look at it in a bit. Remind me after I get through the indices. Good morning, Abraham. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Options 22. Good morning, Amit. Good morning, everybody who remains silent and who's watching on other platforms, by the way. Please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term viewers, please come back, leave some comments, and like the videos. So we'll take a look at everything, position ourselves for today. Good morning, John. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. So mortgage applications, big dive this morning, down 8.3%. Not surprising because the mortgage rate's up to 5.37. So, we're not expecting a housing crash, but a topping out of housing, at least in the short term. Where else do we see retail inventories creeping up? We'll still get pending home sales at 9 Central and then all our crude information. Other than that, it's a very quiet day. FOMC still at 94%. It's baked in. Anybody who doesn't think there's going to be a 50 basis point hike just because there's drawdown in the market is absolutely insane. If they backed off at this point, it's, forget about it. Reminder, still in negative gamma territory, which means higher volatility, which also means you can get amplified moves to the upside. Remember that, please. Good morning, Christoph. We had Boeing. I know they missed this morning. Didn't check in on Spotify. I was more focused on the Bill Wong information, so I will have to peek in on that. Let's see what else. S&P futures are breaking down from this little flag pattern. Rally. Let's peek at the NASDAQ real quick. Last night, we had this little mini double. This actually qualifies when it reopened and then hit the first target, hit the second target, pausing out there for quite a while, and then forming the flag pattern. That was based off of Microsoft's guidance higher. Now that flag pattern is starting to break down in the opening session, where I really get a little concerned from anything from the bullish side is if it breaks back below about 12,960. So you break down from the flag pattern, and here's why they sometimes get a little difficult to trade, because there's support here, and then there's pretty major support here. Break down from that, then I'm going to be focusing on a test of yesterday's lows. What would get me into bullish mode short term? We got to get above 13,100 on the NASDAQ. I'll flip back to the S&P in a second. And then to really get a nice rally on above 13,220. Otherwise, we could see some chop and slop in here. Let's just finish off with the NASDAQ real quick. You see here also topping out at that 4-hour rotation zone. This is the real one I'm going to be focusing on, because if we get above this, the 13,220 area, you can even bump it up about, if you want to get a little more conservative, 13,245. The 13,333, 13,300 is the top of the rotation zone. And remember, yesterday we topped out at the rotation zone before the massive rollover. Back to the S&P, pretty much the same thing in here. Watching this right now, we got the bear flag breakdown, but the key level here is for me to get, I'll just move this one. For me to get much more bearish on the open would be 4164, 4165 area. Start breaking below that, I'd watch for a retest of yesterday's lows. Short-term bullish gets me above 41.99, so 4,200. And then the next stopping point above there is roughly 42.13 area, 42.15. I'm just going to bump that up a bit. It's more about 42.15. 42.15. So then if we start getting above there, not really focusing on the 1 hour rotation zone. I'll be watching that 4 hour. That would take it into the 4 hour rotation zone, and I'd be targeting upwards to about 42.50. But right now, let's take a look. I mean, this is going to be just tactile trading right now. There's nothing, there's no strong buy signals. There's just going to be these little potential breakout or breakdown plays. What would be a stronger buy signal, and that would be very short term, would be a close above today's high. It would need to be on a closing basis, and that would just be for a potential bounce back to some of these breakdown zones. So you'd have to be very, very nimble from which to trade it with. There's nothing like just buy and go away at this point. Dow, reminder daily, we've hit the second target on the double. So even on a bounce, I'm still watching for a rollover play. Dow, by the way, did not. This is a horribly sloppy. It can't even be a proper channel with this big reversal in it. So I'm keeping an eye right now on about 33,300. We break down below 33,300. Then my next key area I'm targeting is 33,186, and then the lows. I cannot get bullish until we get above about 33,540. Above 33,540, then we'd be back into the rotation zone, and I'd be watching for about 33,700, 33,750. Yes, Boeing, big miss. We can take a look at their chart in a bit, and I've got to remember to go back to ENPH for Davey. All right, so again, everything's just going to be tactile trading. Now, if we do break below yesterday's lows, watch out below. Let me go jump back to that, because then I'd be targeting first for the Dow would be 32,950, and then the full double target about 32,835. If we break from yesterday's lows, in the NASDAQ, 12,662 would be the next target to about 12,556, and that would be pretty much a bloodbath. And the S&P is 41.25 to 41.16 if we do take out yesterday's lows. Crude, nothing going on yet. Going to be watching the numbers. Was watching for this breakdown below 101.50. If you're short-term trading crude, if I can get my levels to pop up, here we go. I would then target roughly about 99.17 to 99.38, and then 98.20. Close below 98.20. I'd watch for a retest of Monday's lows, and then back to that 94 area. Gold, pretty much flat. That's not, it's this spike down ruled out the little double pattern. But if we start getting above about 1920, I'll watch for at least a short-term potential bounce. Silver holding up a little better. Again, we need to get above about 24, and then I'll target this 24.50 area again. Notes, see stalling out right here. And by the way, can't trade this before anybody asks. Let me get to that 1 hour. This cannot be traded as a head and shoulders. It's way too sloppy. So again, I'm watching for a continued potential rally. Support coming in at 120. And the next key area, we did close above the 62.5. I'm really focused on 120.29 on the next push higher. Dollar index through the major key. I mean, this is sort of getting into some vertical territory, and we don't have any great pausing bars. You see here? So we're going to have to redo these levels at some point. These short-term levels are going to have to be based off of this little area. When you get something like this, we got to go to this little pause. And so look, we've already hit that. So, wow, this is next level is here. And these are very short-term levels because the dollar is getting really overbought. 103.16. Key support now coming back in at about, I'd have to go about 102.52. Let's check in on our VIX. Our VIX pre-market is down a bit, but still above that 30 mark. So I'm watching to see how, if it does pull back, how it reacts at 30. And if it rotates back up, let's I know we wanted ENPH. Let me get to these before we knock some stuff out. ENPH is up after hitting that first double target. How big was that pullback? I have not looked at this in a few days. No close, close right at that, but no close, gap open below that. So it'll be interesting. Next targets for that is already at that 167. If it continues to rally back to 180, 180 would be the next target. And again, your major line in the sand is 153.70. So those are the key levels for ENPH. Boeing, big miss this morning. Again, still we're bearish on this, especially when it closed back below at 62.5. And next target was 160.07, trading 160.90 pre-market. So that's pretty much the next target hit. We're going to have to ratchet this down, though, to see if it continues. The next level would be 153.71 if you're playing along at home. And now this 167 major support area is resistance. So even on any potential gap play, I'd really be focusing on that before a full gap. Well, it's technically would be the gap fill because this was the close yesterday. But that's pretty much weak sauce in Boeing. And you see against the rotation zone coming back down here. We already went through that 160 target, which was right here. We're filling this gap now, almost. So keep an eye just for 158 minor support. If you're doing that, then 153. Targets on lower targets on the Qs. Well, still, if this breaks down, we'll be 313.24. 313.24, and then here's where I'm going to that. Remember that now we're going to do it from a reverse harmonic standpoint, okay? Because we broke below that level. So then 310.65 and 303.86 are your next key targets downwards in the Qs. I'm so glad I watched this channel because the inverse head and shoulders on the SPY weekly is being talked about on multiple YouTube channels. I'm glad you debunked that for me. Yeah, it's just, again, just for newer people. And that's on the weekly. We'll just take a quick look. Again, this is just the big disqualifier on the super big one. Double shoulders it invalidates the pattern. Like this big a double shoulder. See, you have a shoulder and then another shoulder. So it's like I don't know what it is, but the targets become very unreliable. It's not to say that this can't break down from here because it's literally this is a topping pattern. It's just not a head and shoulders pattern. All right. And look, we hit that target yesterday. Remember, closed below 62.5. We hit that target. So technically, we've met the statistical significance, but on the next lower area would be the 110.64. And if you're pausing here and look at that 110.32. So there's your next targets. And then 404. Now the SPY gets interesting. You start getting closes down at this 110.32. You're into a little clear path longer term. So that's where we start using the clear path targets, not the this horribly sloppy head and shoulders. And then longer term, we've already talked about it. Just use your harmonics. Again, this is why I'm teaching this stuff. So 50% harmonic, you break down below the 37.5, then the 50%, which is one of my longer term targets with the 200. The percentage of stocks above the 5-day moving average is closing on bottom of its usual range. Yes, and we could get a bounce, if not today, tomorrow. Remember, we have mega cap earnings still after the close today. All right, so you got to keep that in mind. Things can really still move the market. So after the close, we have Meta / Facebook, PayPal, Qualcomm. But then tomorrow, we really got some stuff with Amazon and Apple, Roku, Intel. Robinhood laying off 9% of their force, their workforce coming up. So keep an eye. There's still lots of things that can give us some short-term volatility, both to the potential upside and the downside. Remember, long-term is still in bearish mode, but you can get these short-term massive rallies, especially from negative gamma. So that's why it's tactile trading. You got to be very nimble. And if you can't be nimble in these markets, from a long-term perspective, it would be just put on a long-term bearish play until we get some kind of major bottoming signal. And short-term, it's just, could we bounce today? Easily. Could we sell off today? Easily. And we got the flag pattern. Now, what would lead me to really start paying attention to a potential bigger bounce is if we can get above the 4-hour rotation zone. And then I'd start watching for a return to the daily rotation zones, which could easily take it back to the 62.5% level of 43.01 in the S&P. So could we return and wipe out yesterday's big red bar? Sure. Is it a strong buy signal yet? No. All right. I've said all I think I need to say. Tesla. We didn't. Tesla, pre-market gapping up. 901, same things from yesterday. I would not be surprised to see it bounce in Tesla. 901, 930, and then if you get some kind of gamma squeeze rally silly thing going on, it'd be back to 975, which would be the big support. But really, let's take a look on that shorter term basis. I mean, that 900 is something to watch pre-market. You got that 15-minute rotation zone, and you can watch that 1 hour, but really your next major resistance, if it does get a bigger rally on, will be about 926 to 930. The key line in the sand, still remember though, if it rolls over for dead again, 860. Let's see. Let me give you the. I hate when that's over there. It's roughly about 868.98, 868.95 on a closing basis. If it can't sustain this and gets a close below there, then longer term start targeting for these long-term lows. Even then, it means more aggressively bounces get sold. Sorry, I forgot about Tesla. So that's really it. Let me just peek in again. That 15-minute. Let's see. I'd really, if you want to watch for something on the open, start watching again. That's 900 level with the 15-minute rotation zone. That's what I would be looking at. Other than that, unless something major happens, probably no midday update today, unless, again, something major happens. But we will definitely be here this afternoon with earnings seasons to recap the markets and hopefully have some more clarity for the rest of the week in terms of trading direction. Sorry, in these markets, I'm just not going to give out calls when we have to be nimble because, there aren't great patterns in this place. There aren't great patterns, so I'm not, and I really don't have a lot of great patterns besides these levels to watch for breakout or breakdown plays. That's all there is. You are welcome, Davey. Great trading, everyone. You are welcome, Eric. You are welcome, Wavy. With that, I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.